Good morning and welcome. Welcome to my live stream. Fight CPS with your host, Bob Pace. Now, I know it's Sunday morning. I usually start at 8 o'clock, and I just looked at the clock. I'm a little bit early today. That's a change. I come out a little bit early. But I know that you're here because you have something that I have in common with y'all. It's something called CPS. Now, what is CPS to you? To a lot of people, it can be different things. CPS could be a horrible experience. Most time it is. Because we've encountered a rogue entity which has gone bad. Not all CPS is perfect. It's a government entity that has been entrusted to protect our children from neglect and abuse. It was formed in 1962 by an act of Congress who mandated that social services create a group of social workers that protect our children from neglect and abuse. Authors further stated that they do family reunification, where the main purpose is that the best parents are the biological parents. And so if the parents can be given additional skills in parenting or a program where they get treatment, then it's best to work with the parents because that is the goal, is to put the family back together. Because the children need their biological mom and dad. It's proven time and time again. The best parents to raise them are the biological parents. Now, I know that a lot of you don't understand why they're picking on you or why this government entity is doing what they're doing. Now, Chris, good morning. I haven't talked to you in quite some time. It's good to hear from you. I know it's early. And I've started my live stream a little bit earlier than normal, but I'm welcome you. Chris, I forgot about what part of the world you're from. Could you tell me what city or county and state you're from? Yeah, it'd be great. That'd be great. Now, um, Chris is in Florida, and it's never ending. And your Lee County, I welcome you, Chris, trying to get an interstate compact for placement of children started months and months ago, yet uh, CPS has excuses to delay. Yes, I understand that. I call everything CPS because there's so many different names. I know it's called the Department of Children and Families, but CPS identified as the Child Protection System. It has different names in every county and every state. Now, the Interstate Compact for Placement Children is a private entity that helps with the safety of children going from one state to another state. So there must be a reason why you want to have an ICPC to return to Missouri with my 5.5-year-old daughter, where we are born and raised, all family support there. They're progressing absent father who would still be absent. I live in Florida to this day. Okay. Oh, lives in Florida today. If it wasn't for CPS reaching out to him because of my mistake, I um, compiled to everything. I com you you did everything, and you discharged my fit program as well with nothing but positive remarks. Yet CPS doesn't care and still doesn't. The father will be reunited before me. They got a bonus for this, right? How can I tell a judge in respectful manner what they're doing to meet their quotas? I know it's terrible. Never heard of CPS with quotas. I know CPS is corrupt with money, but I don't know about the quota system that you're talking about. In Lee County in Florida, I do know that parts of Florida are very corrupt. Very corrupt, Chris. Very, very corrupt. Um, Chris says the father's now on unsupervised visits, yet again, I complete everything. I have lot. I've not been progressed. Well, that sounds terrible. That sounds terrible, Chris. Hello, Carrie Sampson. Good morning. My heart is hurting, but God got me. I'm doing everything I can to get my kids back with me. I will fight for my kids that I love dearly because if I do it, not fight for my kids, who will? You're right, Carrie. Now, Carrie uh, Sampson is from Burke County, Georgia. From Burke County, Georgia. And welcome, Carrie Sampson. David, David Hammett, I'm watching you today. Big guy. I used to live in Fort Myers Beach. Well, that's in Florida too. Welcome, David. Welcome, David. I'm glad that you are there. One thing I do like to put in that uh, is the format we use for text and a message. Please follow it. It's self explanatory. It's a banner I put on the page. Yes, it is all about money, Chris. It's all about money, 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 money. David Hanson got to get that money from the federal government and then traffic some uh, of these children into sex rings. That's terrible, David. The quota isn't necessarily a fixed number, but they do have employee performances evaluation, which, if you're an employee for CPS, where your performance means taking children. If you don't take any children or family members, in my case, then you're not performing the job that they hired you to do so. David, where are you located? I don't know where you're located. I know Chris is from Florida. Um, well, David says you used to live in Fort Myers Beach. Are you still in Florida, David? We have Carrie Sampson from Burke County, Georgia. Chris is from Florida, uh, Lee County, and he has a terrible case. He's trying to do an ICPC with his children, making from Florida to Missouri. So I thank you all for dropping in. And as I have a banner up there right now, please use this format when you text in messages. Please use this format. Uh, mm, David says he's from Westminster, South Carolina, but I used to live in Lee County in Florida. Well, you're the second person from Lee County because we have another person from Lee County in the Fort Myers Beach. I was actually, uh, let me see here. I was actually a doorman at the Lanakai and Lanakai and something here. Yeah, I started early. I'm talking. I'm on live. Thank you. Uh, okay, so David says he was a doorman at the Lani Kai. But David now lives in South Carolina at OC County, which is the westernmost tip of South Carolina, located in the mountains. Are you getting any rain, David, from the Hurricane Aaron? Are you safe with Hurricane Aaron? Um, David further says, I was placed in CPS when I was in the ninth grade. So you are a foster care child. I was taken out of my home, and instead of I was taken out of my home, and instead of me on a homeless shelter in Greensville, South Carolina. Fast forward to 2016. They placed my grandmother in adult protective custody when my mother was taking care of her. Fast forward today. They took my mother away from our home. This affected three generations of my family, but stops now. Well, geez, David, that sounds terrible. That sounds terrible. Oh boy, I tell you. Good morning, Crystal Sandoval. Where are you from, Crystal? Welcome, a warm welcome, Crystal Sandoval. David is from South Carolina, used to live in Florida, and good. A little bit of sun, a little bit of rain. All right, just want you to be safe there, David, and thank you for coming to my room. It's really nice you doing that. It's really, really nice there. Uh, Hello. Hello. Hey, are you awake? Yeah, I'm doing the live stream. I started early at 7:45. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye. All right. A lot of people are concerned that I start my show on time, which I did. I started 15 minutes too early. Anyway, uh, I'm glad to have you here, Crystal. You know where I'm from or how you've been. I'm still fighting these cases and here going to trial. You're from Houston, Texas, Harris County. Thank you, Crystal, for identifying where you're from. That's really great. Now, David from South Carolina says, the honor is mine. I'm glad to see that you have the passion to fight against the corrupt system and have this platform for others to speak out against it. Well, thank you, David. Yes, I have this platform and I'm very fortunate to have it. And I do want to fight against CPS because I feel like if I can help save one or two or three, that's worth it. because I too am a victim of CPS, and I'm sharing my experiences with y'all. I'm sharing my experiences with y'all. Now, another way besides texting a message, you can also be a guest. You can also be a guest on this live stream. There's the information of how to be a guest. It's a banner. It's a banner up there. So to be a guest, I can take up 9 of you. All you do is email my show producer, Grace. Now I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week. I've been doing this for 22 months, over a year and a half, since October of 2023. And I come on at 8 o'clock Saturday and Sunday mornings. During the weekdays, I'm on at 10 o'clock. In the evening, I'm on every night of the week at 7 p.m. Those times I give you are Pacific Standard Time. I'm on the West Coast of California. If you're on the East Coast, you're 3 hours ahead of me. If you're over in England, you're 8 hours. If you're in Europe, you're 9 hours, including Africa, you're 9 hours ahead of me. And so I would love to have you as a guest. You can talk freely. And with 9 of you, it's quite interesting in there. Now, she'll give you a link to a software application I use called StreamYard. And they used YouTube to transmit the broadcast. And so she'll send you the link and you just copy and paste it into your browser. If you get knocked off, you can use it again. It's good for the whole show. Some simple rules are no profanity, no eating or smoking on the show, and we not use the children's names, the social workers' names, or the judges' names. Now, Chris, you're from Houston, Texas. I remember now, Crystal Sanafar. And thank you for the God bless. You're a very special person. Every one of you that comes into my show is a special person. It's a horrible, horrible thing to deal with the agency that's so corrupt. They are corrupt. 50% of CPS agencies are rogue. 50%. That's from statistics that have shown that 50% of the time they are correct protecting our children, but 50% of the times they're not. And those come from the mandatory reporters, the people that are supposed to, because of their job working with children, are supposed to report abuse or neglect. And they get it wrong 50% of the time. The other kind of reporters are the lay people, family, friends, relatives, neighbors, the guy down the street. They get it right about 25% of the time. So we have a lot of bad CPS, 50% of them. So, like North Carolina has over 100 counties, they have 100 CPS systems, the child protection systems. California has 58. So, if you have 100, that means 50 of them are bogus reports or bogus agencies, which is bad. Their alternative motives, they found money is really important. It's $1 trillion business, and they don't care, and they do retaliation. They don't care how they hurt the family. And that's the sad part. Now, Carrie's sister says, Mr. Bob, my caseworker and supervisor, it's not doing a job right, but telling the judge I'm not cooperating when I have proof I am. But the judge won't let me prove that in court. Well, that's because you're using a court appointed attorney. If you want to talk to the judge, you have to say. That means you got to represent yourself. That's dangerous because in a court of law, the people that are involved in decision makings are the judge and the attorneys for the plaintiff and the attorneys for the defendant. So there's an attorney for each of the child, attorney for you, attorney for the social services agency. They're the ones that talk in court. Court's a really strange animal. You can defend yourself and be pro se, but you'd be eaten alive because they know the rules too well. The plaintiffs are very well trained and well financed, and they will go in there and destroy you. That's why you need a judge to represent you. So even though the judge won't listen to you, you need to present your information to your attorney. If you're going to use a court appointed attorney, you need to make that court appointed attorney work for you. You need to tell them if they don't perform, you'll file a civil lawsuit for negligence. Also, you report them to the state bar at the capital of your state. You report the attorney to the state bar and have his license removed. If he's not performing his job, you can do that. I know it's extra work. Not only do you have to fight to bring your kids home, you got to fight a corrupt system. And that's the bad part. The judge is supposed to act like a responsible referee in a football game, but he doesn't. Most of the judges are corrupt, 50%. It's a 50-50 chance that you'll get a good judge, a 50-50 chance that you get your children back. That's a terrible statistics. Very terrible. Good morning, Betty Joe. It's so good to hear from Betty Joe from Montana. She is a foster care mother, very loving mother, and very helpful here. Bartley was looking for you the other day, Betty Joe. What apparently has happened with Bartley is that her partner has turned against her and doing things behind her back. Her partner, Kelly, um, has taken out some additional paperwork to get more funding from her and do things that are upsetting her case. I'm talking about Bartley in Montana, Betty Joe. Bartley in Montana, I know you were helping her, but her partner has really turned bad. Now, David says, who was once a foster child himself in the ninth grade. That's right, David. They're trying to take your mother, and that's wrong. And your grandmother, that's even worse. And right, Betty Joe, you go to the governor. Betty Joe is going to talk to the governor. I've gone and talked to the governor of Nebraska, which is where her niece, her brother's child, was taken by CPS. And she's trying to get her niece back. Yes, they right. If you've been in foster, David, they will come after you. Yes, keep the information, David. Don't forget. And Bay Joe, don't forget Bartley. Her partner Kelly has turned against her. And so she is really has a big battle ahead of her. Now, Crystal Sandoval from Houston, Texas. Uh, turn them into the FBI civil rights. Well, the more government agencies you get involved. We have a new government agency called DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, that was created by Donald Trump, our president, in January of 2025. And they are investigating CPS. I know that they are because I had a call in with a caseworker in social services regarding food stamps. And on the phone came a supervisor who identified herself with the Department of Government Efficiency and that they're investigating CPS and making sure that social service and CPS was doing their job correctly. So I do know they're being investigated, and hopefully Doge will catch them all. Hopefully Doge will catch all the evilness that's taken place. I welcome everybody. I got to put my phone number up before I forget so you guys can call in. There's my phone number. You can call me on that number. My phone is live. It's 626 698 0990. Oh, huh. Good morning and welcome to my live stream. This is Bob Pace, and who do I have the pleasure of talking to? Yeah, glad to meet you there, David from South Carolina. You must be the person I've been talking to that's been in foster care in the ninth grade, right?
recently found out. I recorded every one of my. Anytime I had an encounter with CPS, I recorded it with my cell phone. So I have dozens. Well, probably about. Yeah, I got about 20 videos of CPS employees coming out to my house in the short 6 years that we lived in Oconee County, South Carolina.
Okay.
So when they first come out, they'll try to flatter you with compliments to get you to open up about something that they can use against you in court. That's usually you can use, if you record them saying something like that, you can use it against them in the courtroom. So if you're recording them, anytime a government employee comes out to your house, you should record it, whether it be CPS or police officers or any government employee, because they're out there for a reason, and that's to either take money from you or take kids from you or people. But in my case, I recorded it, and in the 6 years, I found out through the last investigation through my son that I was investigated just on my son 11 times in the past 6 years. So that equals about 2 investigations a year to see if I'm abusing my son. And every time was unfounded, with the last one accused me of being a meth head or a drug addict, which I can easily verify that I'm not. Because I can easily verify I wasn't, and they closed the case. They investigated me with my aunt twice. That was Victoria, my aunt Vicky. She passed away, but most of those investigations were unfounded. And then they investigated me 3 times, with 2 of those investigations going through the local sheriff's department. And I recorded all those interactions. Well, I should say most of those interactions that I had with the law enforcement when they came out here and accused me of abusing my mom because there was one bruise on the wrist, and it was enough to get 6 cop cars parked outside my house. So they did that, and it was unfounded that I was abusing her. And then the next investigation through Oconee County Sheriff's Department was when they put the first emergency protective custody on her. And when they put the first emergency protective custody on her, found it as an intervener, got her back, but I was investigated by the Detective David Skelp in Oconee County, and I'm going to subpoena him this coming merit hearing for my mother's case. So I'm excited about this merit hearing because it'll be the first one that I've been able to participate in. It's not going to be as quick as the last one was. It took, I think, maybe 20 minutes to decide the fate of my mama for the rest of her life.
Yes, I'm listening.
That's so. I mean, it just, you can't get burned out. You got to record every interaction with the government that you have, because that's some of your best defense is getting those videos, and then subpoenaing the people the way you introduce the videos. Is you subpoena the people that were in the video and have them watch the video in the courtroom and then respond to what they said. Now, the first investigation that they took my mom on, the CSS worker actually told me how to find her on Facebook. Her name was, well, I don't need to say that, but she told me how to find her on Facebook because not everybody knew she worked for DSS. And she told me to send her a friend's invite, and she accepted. After me and her hugged and cried, she had a rough childhood herself. So when she come to my house, me and her hugged in my living room, and she cried about how bad her childhood was and how awful her family treated her and how she lives in government housing now. So her, my mama would come home. And then 10 minutes later, she got on the witness stand and said that my mom would be better off in a nursing home. So now that same CPS worker, I'm going to subpoena and put on the witness stand and show the text message to the court that she sent me. I'm going to make her read it out in the courtroom, so it can be recorded for court records, and she'll have to answer for that down the road. I'm not going to allow her to answer for it there at the courtroom because she'll come up with some lie that there's no way of verifying. Or so I'm just going to ask her if this is her phone number, if this text came from her phone number, and I'm not going to allow her to elaborate past that. And now I'm going to tell her to read the text message. And now I'm going to show her, is this your Facebook account? Did you accept this friend request on Facebook? And I'm not going to allow you to elaborate on that. I'm just going to let this marriage hearing is involving all the same people from the first marriage hearing. Everybody, all the way down to the person that was in the hospital that told the cops for emergency protective custody. I've got it on my YouTube channel if you want to listen to it. It's my YouTube channel called Fort EORK Troll, ROLL, and you can hear literally the whole time that the cop was telling me that he was placing my mom in emergency protective custody is because people didn't like me and that I didn't wash her in the bathtub. She had 2 contact fractures in her spine from a car accident that she had on August 3rd. And that's what got her put on hospice, which she shouldn't have been on hospice. She should have been on palliative care. But that's what got her put on there. And then the company that took care of my aunt was Agape Home Care. And that's why I had to come in and take care of my mom, but they hired a new employee. And the new employee said that my mom told her that I beat on her. And I was sitting here saying, I don't think she said that, but she still told the cops that. And the cops come out here and the deputy's name, well, the deputy came out here and did a walkthrough, a welfare check, didn't see any bruises or any marks on my mom, but that night she had some type of episode and needed to go to the hospital, and when she went to the hospital, she stayed for 4 days and then come back home. So after that, she got into I had to send her back to the hospital because she looked like she was having a stroke or something was going on. So I sent her to the hospital, but I had a doctor's appointment myself. So I went to my doctor's appointment, and on my way back to pick my mom up at the hospital, I got a call from the cop that put the EPC on her.
Yeah.
When I got that call from the cop, I'm sorry, I know I'm rattling off.
No. You're doing fine. You're doing fine. It's all right, Raymond.
I did record the phone call with the cop, but I did record the situation at the hospital. I recorded the whole event with my son in the room with me, with my cell phone, and you can literally hear his reason of putting my mom on emergency protective custody. That my plate was full, and because of my demeanor, that my mama isn't able to get the help that she needs because people don't like me. Well, I just proved that the very first time she got back home, because I had multiple companies that would take care of my mom, not just the Agape one. I had Your Health, which used to be South Carolina House Calls. That used to be their name. I could coming out here to help her. I had Prisma Home Care.
Right.
But I mean, I proved it wrong, and now when I got her back, it was 6 months later, and she was covered in bed sores. So now I'm looking up the information to prove that she had the bed sores when she was admitted into the hospital on April 10th.
Okay.
That's well documented that she had the bed sores when she was admitted into the hospital. I don't think they treated her for the bed sores when she was at a local hospital. and you work for the government or you're doing something, if you're a mandatory reporter, you're going to be recorded. That's the way I see it. If you're a mandatory reporter, I've got to report you because mandatory reporters will lie, just like the woman did on the court stand. It could have been a hero and said, no, I don't think Miss Lindsay needs to be taken away from her home. I believe that her son's got this under control. And the only time that I've not been in control is when they've taken her out of my house. And this last time on May 7th, I sent her to the same hospital that put the second PCR. I sent her there to get a feeding tube put into her stomach. They didn't put the feeding tube in her stomach, so about 2 weeks or a month later, the hospital that they took her to down in Orangeburg, they always ship her away 200 plus miles or 100 plus miles away from where we live because they know that I'll go see her. And then they tell me I'm not allowed to visit the nursing home because the social worker told them I wasn't allowed to visit my mom. Only a judge can tell you that. Only a judge can prevent you from going to see your mom, not some social worker, but they always overplay their hands because they deal with poor people. They never deal with people with money. Don't have these problems. If you got money, you'll never have to worry about your thing. I had a cop tell me, this is the funny thing about it, I had a cop tell me here in my own community that when I asked her what would she do to get her mama home, she told me out of her own lips that she wouldn't have to worry about that because her mom is a cop. And I was dumbfounded. I said, yeah, I guess you wouldn't. And then she realized what she just said and said, well, I mean that she's young and she knows the law. And then I was like, yeah. And the thing is, you're not allowed to talk unless you represent yourself pro se. And the court-appointed attorney, he's going to try to keep you from getting up on that stand as often as he can because he just wants your money. He just wants that little, $5,000 that they get. And that's only in the most extreme. Typical cases for this is about $1,500. So if they can make it one trial and then you get your parental rights stripped away, well, that's fine by the court-appointed attorney. And most of the time, the court-appointed attorney, like the guardian ad litem attorney for my case, was actually a DSS lawyer until she had 2 OCD reports filed on her charge, ODC, I'm sorry, Office of Disciplinary. What's the lawyer term for that? ODC for South Carolina? I gotta look it up. But yeah, she had 2 charges of people that paid her money and she refused to give them their money back when she never even went to court on their behalf. She just took their money and they never showed up to court or anything. So she became a guardian ad litem lawyer after she was fired or stepped away or was done away with through the Oconee County DSS. So there's and the attorney that put the emergency protective custody on my mom this time was fired. So she's no longer working as a lead attorney for Oconee County DSS. And the woman she replaced immediately went on vacation after my mother's hearing. She immediately went on vacation and then retired when she come back the following Monday. And Wednesday was her last day. That was May 17th. But it's a hard fight because these people have a huge amounts of funding behind them, and if you're not persistent, they're just going to steamroll you every time. And you got to have the ability. It's a full-time job to get your loved ones back. You can't have a part-time job. It literally, you have to go through all the evidence that you've got, documents and videos, which you should have plenty of videos. If you get your child taken from you, you should have plenty of videos of these people doing what they're doing. You don't just let somebody roll into your house and take your child without recording it. I'm sorry. If you're not smart enough to record government workers when they come to your house, then you're definitely not going to be smart enough
Right.
You know, that's
Right.
just, that's just, and I don't mean to sound harsh to people that think government employees, when they're at your house, is there for a reason to investigate. And that's DSS, that's law enforcement, that's anybody. They're there to investigate. They don't, my son's school resource officer here in Oconee County got busted. His resource officer got busted, Department of Homeland Security, for child trafficking. That was the resource officer that was watching over my son when he was in the elementary school over here. I was reported to DSS while that officer was his resource officer. I was reported for my son touching his teacher's breast. They reported me to DSS because my son touched his teacher's breast. And I was dumbfounded. How in the hell could that possibly happen when we had already had a discussion beforehand to be at least the arm's length away from him being close to a person because he touched their breast. He done it
Yes.
once, and we come up with the solution. We'll say at least the arm's length away. That way he can't do it again because he's severely autistic. But they still followed the charge. They still called DSS, and DSS unfounded that one. One of the 11 times that I was reported for abusing or beating on or walking in a dog kennel. I had these Facebook videos, and this is funny. It's on YouTube too, where the cop comes out here and says, "I know that the video you can tell that you're joking, but we have to address these things when people accuse someone of something like this. We still have to investigate them." Well, I reported the cop while he was here, and he told me that everything looks good, nothing wrong there, but he still went back to the judge and tried to get an arrest warrant for child abuse. I was like, what? I filed a FOIA request for my house, my address alone, and it cost $171 to get my own FOIA, the information that the Oconee County law enforcement had on me. Never been arrested in the past. Well, since I've returned to South Carolina, never been arrested in over 10 years.
Wow. Wow.
But it cost $171 for my discovery. Something that I would have got for free if I was ever charged, and so all the your discovery. But these people here, they don't look. My son being autistic, this is the wild thing. My son being autistic, he gets services for his autism. Now, one of the people that provides those services is a caseworker for his autism. I'm not going to say the person's name, but this person used to work for DSS. Well, when this person worked for DSS, this person told me that they had a child that was born at Oconee Memorial Hospital, and his mother tested positive for crystal meth. And oh man, I wish I hadn't said that. And they called the cops to put emergency protective custody on the child because the mother's positive for crystal meth, but the cop wouldn't do it. But then they came back the following day with another cop that would do it. And this is even after the employees at the DSS, her supervisor at DSS told her that this was not going to happen, that you shouldn't have done that. The judge will never allow it to happen. You'll never get custody of this child. And this employee did successfully win and got the custody taken away from the child's parent. Now, granted, the child's parent is a drug addict and still is currently on drugs, from the best of my knowledge. But still, you shouldn't have multiple swings at that when it comes to she's a master deputy. She didn't even call her sergeant. She did it just at the request of the hospital employee. Now, the first cop that we called a bunch of other people, he still got the emergency protective order. He still filed it on her, but he called all his buddies before he did it, and he still did it. And I was investigated twice, and I told the cop that investigated me, or Detective David Skell for Oconee County. I told him, I said, well, they didn't even let me talk in the courtroom. So I want to subpoena him. He says, well, I don't think that was right. So I'm going to subpoena him for this merit hearing coming. There's going to be a bunch of merit hearings going to be heard. And when they are, there's going to be a lot of information shared at this merit hearing. And I'm going to subpoena not just that local sheriff's deputy or detective. I will also subpoena a SLED special agent to come up there and listen to the proceedings, because I want to see in the Department of Justice for South Carolina DSS is already in trouble with the Department of Justice, the U.S. Department of Justice, for doing this very same thing that they've done to me. So I'm going to subpoena a DOJ attorney or investigator to be a part of the courtroom audience. Because these people love me. That's all they do. You're right, 50% of them lie. But I guarantee the ones that spend the most time in the court, those are the ones that lie the most. Yeah. So the ones that lie the most. The ones that stay in front of the court are the ones that lie the most. The ones that come to your house, the one that came to my house and hugged me, she appeared in the first 72-hour hearing. The next one was Angela, and that woman was at every other hearing after that. Because the first one told the truth at my house. She hugged my neck when she was here at my house. She told me how broke she was, and I offered her $50 the following day because I was broke myself. I offered her $50, and she said, no, she got paid. That was October 13th. She said she got paid. I was like, well, if you need any help, give me a call because I'll put that in Nicholas to her. But she's a scumbag.
Yeah, I'm so sorry that. Yeah.
I'm just glad that you have this platform that I can say this stuff on.
Yeah. Well, long as we're respectful of each other and no profanity, it's available for you guys to tell your story, to share what may have worked for you, didn't work for you, and the pitfalls, because CPS, 50% of CPS is bad and corrupt. Half. It's really sad to say that. Well, people have been keeping track of them for a long time, and there was a statistic that said in a year's time, 4,200,000 reports were made on child abuse, and of them, 2 million were reported false or wrong, and that was done by lay people. So where I get my 50%, half of 4 million is 2 million. So that's where I get my 50%. And then also, it seems like the majority of the people I talk to in here, it is hard because I don't know how else to explain it, but it is hard. It is hard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got to keep them honest, and recording them is the best way to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You have to keep them honest. There's no question about that.
Thank you for letting me call in. I'd love to be a part of your show, but I am a heavy smoker, so
yeah, it's all right. It's all right. We don't allow smoking or eating on the show, so I respect what you're saying.
Thank you for the platform.
Yeah. Well, David, you said that you were once a foster kid yourself. Did you ever try to have your record cleared of foster care? Because as a foster youth, you have the right at 18 to have your record clear so they don't follow you. The database on you, they have, and that's why you have the problems that you do have. Have you ever thought about trying to clear your record of being involved in foster care?
Well, I mean,
Of course,
since
it's
I was never in a foster home, no, I haven't ever thought of that. I didn't even know that was a thing that you could do.
it is. I'm saying that because I want all my listeners out there to know that if you're once in foster care as a child, when you turn 18, your first thing should be do is to have your record sealed and have it cleared so that you start off fresh. Because otherwise, the data they'll keep on you and everything there.
I never knew that.
Yeah, I'm just
Well,
sharing
I'm
that.
way past 18 now. I'm too young to be
I know.
involved.
I'm just trying to say that to all you 18-year-olds out there listening on the show, make sure your child protection system case is cleared and sealed. You can get an attorney to help you with that. That's who can help you do that. Now, I do want to say a message to one of my followers, Betty Joe. Betty Joe, I've sent you Bartley information again. It's Bartley, not Berkeley, but Bartley from Montana, who needs your help with her partner gone rogue, Kelly. So please contact her, Betty Joe. Thank you so much. And Carrie Sampson, um, I thank you for the prayers, and I thank you for giving all the strength and everything. She has said, Heavenly Father, I thank you for my parents. I lift them up to you now, asking for your strength, wisdom, and comfort to sustain them through these trials. Be their peace in the midst of the storm and their light in the darkness. Guard their hearts and mind from despair and remind them of your unwavering love and the hope that brighter days are ahead. Give them the courage to trust in knowing you're with them through it all. Amen. So Carrie gives a prayer. She's from Burke County, um, Georgia. And I thank you very much for that prayer, Carrie Sampson. I also thank David, who's from South Carolina, who's talking about his problem. He's gone through so much. His mother, his grandmother, all of them have been abused. And I know that we have an area that we sometimes don't talk much about, which is called Adult Protective Services. That's just like Child Protection Service, but it deals with adults that are being abused. I had a sister who's in Adult Protective Services, and she was abused too. And it's a shame because you really don't know too much about it until you have a family member involved. But Adult Protective
Yeah.
Services, there's a girl named um, Diane from Illinois that calls me regularly. Her mom passed away in Adult Protective Services. And if she's out there listening, my prayers go out to her because she's very troubled by it all because they were trying to come after her even after her mom's dead. They're still trying to retaliate, which is sad how sickening that that social services, the child protection agency, what do you want to call them, are so sick. The adult protective services. It's all it's all about money. It's all about money. And that's the sad part
Yep.
about it. That's the sad part about it. Well, I have 8:53. I have about 7 minutes left. What else would you like to talk about, David? What else would you like to talk about?
Well, I hate to hear that anybody lost their family member while they're. My grandmother died in an emergency protective custody. So
Oh, jeez.
I hate to hear that, but I was watching until I watched one of the videos where I was talking to my mom after I got her out of the DSS when I said that grandma died, and she said no, she didn't die. They took her. I said, what do you? She meant that the Lord took her, but no, when she said they took her, we were talking about DSS. So
Oh
when I
no.
put it into context in the conversation we had, I understood that she meant that they DSS took my grandmother away from my mama because my mom was her primary caregiver, and my mom loved wiping that little old woman's ass. She loved cleaning her up, and I respect her for
Yeah.
But Oconee County is corrupt. This county, how we got our sheriff was that the James Barkey was running for sheriff of Oconee County, but a drug addict shot and killed somebody in front of their mama, and in exchange for his testimony of James Barkey paying him $180 to kidnap a judge that was on the bench here in Oconee County, his murder charges were dismissed and unfounded because he threw a gun down at the feet of the guy that he shot and killed, and they claimed that it was self-defense because the man never owned a gun. He lived with his mother, and his mom watched the whole interaction take place in her front yard. But they didn't come out and interview her. They just interviewed the guy that shot and killed him, and that was a case closed. So if they don't dig into it, then it's a cover up. A lot of cover up happens because they don't bother digging into the information that they have at their hands. They asked this one guy, and that one guy said no, it was self-defense, and that's the case closed.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Well, you remember the Monopoly Million, the board game for McDonald's?
I knew about it. I never played it, but they had a Monopoly game. Yes.
Well, the $1 million winner happened in Oconee County, South Carolina, and the ticket was bought, and it was a special on Netflix, but it happened in West Union, South Carolina, which is Oconee County. The guy bought the ticket from the man that was traveling around America, putting the winning numbers in the McDonald's franchises throughout the country. And he did that and sold the winning ticket to a guy down here, and the guy claimed $1 million, and nothing was ever said about it.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely this little bitty rural part of South Carolina, and DSS is even more powerful in these rural cities or rural towns because they have they're financed by the federal government, and the local law enforcement only helps in that investigation. And anytime somebody gets placed in EPC, well, the cops think that they're saving someone's life, but they're not. They're actually putting them in more danger by placing them in these crappy nursing homes. Like Carlisle Senior Care was where my mom spent 6 months at, come home with bed sores as big as the palm of my hand, and then bring her back to Oconee County. She goes back to the same hospital that put her under EPC, and found she's under EPC again.
Wow.
Because they sent her to a nursing home that caused the bed sores and now blaming me for it. But I got easily provable evidence that'll bring my mama home, but it'll give me the chance to get all the last trial on the record so that I can turn it over to the DOJ and show them how corrupt the system is and have it finally federalized and taken out of the hands of the people that are running it right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to get off the phone with you, but I appreciate you letting me call in.
Yeah, I appreciate it too that you took the time to open up your heart to express your concerns. God bless you. You're a good man there, David Hammond from South Carolina. And please be safe with that hurricane out there in the ocean. I know that you guys have gone through a lot of hurricanes or rains and stuff. So be careful out there. All right.
I will, sir. And if there's anybody from South Carolina that does listen to your show, I would be more than happy to if they reached out to me on
Sure.
Facebook.
There will be people from, you're the only person I know from South Carolina. I have a girl named Dorothy Cook from North Carolina. It's on my show all the time. And she has, she has a bad case too. So Dorothy Cook will come on, and maybe you two can talk. But anyway, I want you to have a good day. I do have to wrap up my show. It's 9 o'clock, and I want to thank you, uh, Raymond. Excuse me, David Hammond, for calling in. I also want to thank Betty Joe from Montana, who's going to help out Barkley from Montana, and Crystal Sandoval from Houston, Texas. Thank you for uh, calling in. And also Carrie Sampson from Burke County, Georgia. Thank you very, very much. Let me see, who else do we have here? I think I covered everything. David Hammond is, Chris, can't forget Chris. Chris from, well, I think Chris is from, he was from Florida, but he now is where he's from now. Chris, he's from Missouri. He wants to go to Missouri. He's doing an ICPC. Thank you, Chris, for calling in the early part of my show. Thank you all for listening. I'll be on again tonight at 7 p.m. So please join me. Don't forget to keep fighting for your children and your child. They're very important to you. There'll be a brief video to listen to following the end of my show. God bless you and have a great day.
A vivid picture is encrypted in your mind as the critics get in line like they're witnessing a crime. But then you notice there's a shiver in your spine from the feelings of discontentment and bitterness combined. Heartbroken when you listen to the judges, another kid's innocence corrupted, and if you go against then it's destructive. Consider this predicament the toughest, but we believe in a system fit for justice. Child Protective Services only pretends to save it. The one solution for this is worthy of instant praises. 30 years of experience with relentless cases. Allow me to introduce them. This is Vincent Davis, defending you when they don't think a mother fits the role. Is it juvenile dependency or government control? Observe the pain in their eyes. It's time for us to realize we are the
last ones left. Put your faith in